What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Caro Emerald. And once again, big shout out to Jim, the benefactor of this deep dive. And we're jumping ahead to her next studio album, 2013, which is called The Shocking Miss Emerald, which sounds very scandalous. The picture on the cover is not so shocking. She does have a very glamorous outfit on, and there's a bit of activity going on behind her, so it's, it suggests a scene which, given the way her opening album played out with a bunch of individual vignettes, seemingly either all different sides or maybe different possibilities of the same story, or at the very least a concept album of a number of related anecdotal narratives relating to love, romance, lust, hope for a relationship, but maybe not a realized one. It was a number of different perspectives on the same general set of themes, so I enjoyed that very much, and I've talked about it before. I love an album that is just, a collection of very good songs that doesn't necessarily have a thread running through them, but I do also appreciate the thought and consideration that can go into making a concept album. So the first tune that we're going to listen to comes after an intro. It's an intro that's less than a minute long that is called Intro. So the first proper tune is One Day, which I feel like I've done a reaction to a song either of that same name or at the very least including that phrase. And the suggestion is that it is one day among many. Ultimately, perhaps a significant or anomalous thing could happen on that one day, but it could also be slice of life, right? Where it's not anomalous. It's the regular happenings, feelings, hopes, ambitions, thoughts, or whatever else goes on a given day in a given person's life, or maybe multiple people's lives. So I'm curious how this might kick off, and how it might relate to the idea of the shocking Miss Emerald, whether there's any continuation of the themes from the first album. All these things seem possible. Let's find out what's actually at play. This is Caro Emerald, the first intro and then proper tune on her 2013 album, The Shocking Miss Emerald, and it's called the Miss Emerald Intro and then One Day. Like the beginning of a classic film. The persona.
Miss Emerald, Sidney Thompson from the Mail. Anything to tell your fans?
It's cheeky. Like, okay, so one, it does feel like a continuation, certainly of the themes, maybe not necessarily the same character, although, again, you call it the Shocking Miss Emerald. Yeah, I don't know. Like, deleted scenes from the cutting room floor, there's no reference to her and that persona, like, specifically, though, again, like, the way the album played out, it's, you know, it could be argued that it's the same character in different possibilities. But yeah, ultimately this one referencing the character directly in the title of the album as well as the intro. And then here we get like, Miss Emerald, just a quote please. And it kind of has that like 40s, 50 reporter, you know, the big flash bulb on the top of the camera and the, you know, just the way of speaking that, you know, newsies are often given, or I don't know if newsies, that's the people who like give out the papers, right? But that like journalist type of sound of the, you know, like 50s movies and so on. So it feels like it's still kind of like a period piece, and then also that the Miss Emerald really is a character, which now, beginning like what I had read about her transition to the Jordan and desire not to like keep playing the same character and all the expectations that are based on that aesthetic and again persona, now it makes a little more sense already in the idea that like this was not just like who she was as an artist, but this is like, you know, an aesthetic. It's a character that's created. It's a character that's walking out to reporters as she's walking through the lobby, and you know, people are asking questions and trying to get pictures. And then the part where she was sort of singing in a very carefree, melodic way, where it was just, you know, notes. It wasn't like actual lyrics. It felt like, you know, her kind of tuning out all the cacophony of the reporters and people trying to get her perspective or, you know, her opinion on something. So, yeah, it feels like the character has become even more of an overt, specific thing within her music at the beginning of this album. So, curious to hear how that develops and what builds off it. So, again, shout out to Jim, shout out to Caro, shout out to the Jordan eventually. I'm curious to go the full distance. I do have to point out, this is a deluxe edition of the Shocking Miss Emerald, and the second half, maybe even more than the second half of the album, there's like 15 or something tunes, I'll look it up in a second. It's a live concert from Glasgow, so I'm excited to hear that. You know, ultimately, we'll see what people say as I start going through the live stuff, and people will say they want to jump ahead to the next proper album and then only maybe occasionally go back and get more live stuff. We could do that, but ultimately I'm just excited to hear some live performances, because again, you hear studio music. I've talked about this in the ABBA deep dive in particular, where like the Live at Wembley release, I now understand there's a lot of ABBA fans they have misgivings about it because they feel like it doesn't truly represent how they sounded, not only the songs themselves as they are relative to the studio versions, but even in terms of their live performance. There's people who've, you know, and the reactions I've done for that already have argued like the recording, you know, it doesn't do justice to what it really would have sounded like and so on. And I keep mentioning, like, I respect all that and I acknowledge all that, or I would take all that in and think about it as I'm listening, but I love hearing live performances of groups that I'm fond of. So the idea of hearing Caro do these, you know, characters, or maybe even singular character, in a live setting, and you know, maybe with some flourishes either from her vocals or some of the band work, or maybe an extended section. I'm excited to hear that. So let me see exactly what we're looking at. So the album itself, excuse me, has 17 tunes. So it's already a massive album. And then there's an additional 18, I guess. Yeah, because it goes to 35. So there's an additional 18 that are live in Glasgow. So yeah, we have a whole lot to go through. Looking forward to it. Once again, shout out to Jim. You are massively appreciated, and thank you for the patience as we go through everything. And you know, I will say, I mentioned this in another video in this session, restarting all the deep dives after the holidays has made me realize just how many deep dives I'm going through. Like when you're just in the middle of it, it really is sort of like a a tornado, and you just try to stay in the center of it, so you're like you're surviving and you're getting around to everything. But yeah, like taking a break, which was nice. I really enjoyed doing all the holiday videos, and shout out to those that were there for those. Not only the music reactions during that period, but some of the other stuff I did. But yeah, restarting everything, it's like, oh man, I still, I'm like a week or two after I've restarted things, and there's like a whole bunch of deep dives that I still have to get going again. So in any case, I'm here for it. I appreciate the patience. Hopefully other people are enjoying. And yeah, looking forward to the rest of this album and the live stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.